morning, everybody. Good morning from Sverige. Bon matin et bienvenue en Suède. These are the 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships live from Sollefteå, Sverige, Sweden, at the Halsta Ski Station. My name is Randy Ferguson. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you here today as we are just under 3 minutes unofficially to our first start. A reminder once again for everybody here, we will be starting with the men's LW 10-12 qualification for the sprints. Right now it is a balmy 2 degrees Celsius. After a few weeks of cold here in Sollefteå, it has become very temperate and warm. And the temperature not changing here. We see on our screens, for those of us joining us around the world on the web, our course here, our start in the sit ski competition. Once again, this is the qualifying that will be going ahead this morning. And then we will seed our racers by heats for the semifinals and for the finals later on today. So once again, a beautiful day here in Sollefteå. The athletes have been training here, and there we'll have our order of start today. We'll be going first in the men's category with Ramil Ilaludinov from Russia, followed by Roman Petuhov, Chris Klebel from Canada, Romain Rosic, and so on throughout this morning. We'll give you a bio on riders as they take off. Once again, this is a first event of these 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. And this event this morning, this first portion, will be a race against the clock. So it is a individual start, and the skiers will be placed on a heat grid starting later on today in regards to a semi-final and then going into a final. Alors bonjour mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à ceux et celles qui se joignent à nous non seulement ici dans le stade mais à l'international puisque nous sommes en direct sur le web et vous écoutez présentement les championnats du monde de ski nordique ici IPC à Sollefteå en Suède. Et comme vous pouvez voir, l'action débute très bientôt. So our first skier out will be once again from Russia, Ramil Ilaludinov. And he was first in the sprint in Cable, Wisconsin a few weeks ago, and second in the IPC LW12 ranking as of January 2013. So we are ready. Wearing also the red bib today of our IPC ranking is Mr. Ilaludinov from Russia. And he will be the first skier out. And once again, there are percentages of timing here for each athlete based on their classification. We'll get into that a bit further on during the day here. A very important process for our web audience to understand, as these racers have different classifications affecting their time and ranking at the end of the event. So here we are, first skier Ramil Ilaludinov from Russia is on course. He will start things off here today in Sollefteå. In the men's sit ski category is our first skier, and they will be staggered here at the start by 30 seconds. As we see our first skier off right now, Ramil Ilaludinov from Russia, picking up the win in Cable, Wisconsin on the 15th of January of last year. And now making his way out will be the IPC. One of our leaders is Roman Petuhov from Russia, also a silver medalist in the 15K event in Vancouver during the Paralympic Games, and he was 5th in the sprint during this event. And now off for Canada, Chris Klebel, LW11, and so his time will be at the finish line affected by the percentage classification. 5th in the IPC standings, 2-time Paralympian, and he has more than a dozen World Cup podiums already. So let's see what he'll be able to do. Silver medalist at the World Champs 2 years ago in this sprint event. Now, Romain Rosique de la France, 7e du classement mondial IPC. Alors, LW11. Je rappelle, ce sont les catégories sit-ski qui débutent chez les messieurs. Contre la montre pour, bien sûr, placer nos coureurs un peu plus tard dans la journée en vue des demi-finales. 12 se qualifieront. 12 will qualify for this event. And here is the 2011 World Sprint Champ from Norway, Trygve Steinar Larsen. Just off the podium in Vancouver, also in 6th. He has 3 World Championship medals, all gained in 2011, and also a bronze medal during the relay, team relay in Vancouver at the Paralympic Games in 2010. Now, a bronze medalist from the Cable, Wisconsin event a few weeks ago is from Russia, Igor Kuznetsov. Well, the Russians very present here in Sollefteå, an important event for them, as many have stated, also stated by our IPC representative last night at the opening ceremonies. This is the final stretch towards Sochi, and many of these athletes will be going to Sochi for the test event in a couple of weeks. And the Russian team very present here, as we have a view right now on the red bib of Monsieur Ramil Lalutinov, as his time will be registered right away. It's a 3:11.76. Petuhov not far behind. And let's see the time for Petuhov. 3:11.76 is the time of Ilaludinov. Once again, these are 100% time considerations, and Petuhov 3:04.87. So he is now our fastest skier of this event after 2 skiers. We should get a visual very soon on Chris Klabel from Canada. Born in Germany. Skied a lot in Russia, in Austria, I should say, as a youngster. Snowboarding also. Was a member of the American team for a while, and now moving to Canmore, Alberta, and is part of the Canadian team. As we now see Romain Rosique, un visuel à l'instant, LW11. And not far behind him, Alexei Boychenko from Russia. Now coming up towards the finish is Klabel. And what will the Canadian be able to post? A skier who, after a terrible injury, was able to come back and win a few weeks after that injury, a medal. And for Chris Klabel, it is a 3:29.33. And coming in now with a super acceleration here on the line is Trygve Steinar Larsen. And just a few seconds ago, we saw also Romain Rosique, 3:18.52, 3:18.52. And here comes Larsen. Trygve Larsen, the sprint world champ, trying to qualify here for our heats this afternoon. And for Trygve Larsen, it will be a 3:23.84. And presently ranked 4th. So Petuhov with the best time of 3:04.87. Ilaludinov, his countrymate, 3:11.76. Romain Rosique, 3:18.52. Now coming up to the finish line, Igor Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov in this lead group, LW 11.5. Once again, the LW12s skiing for 100% of their time, 97% of the time here for Kuznetsov, being classified as an 11.5, LW 11.5 sit ski, 3:29.39, still looking strong. And oh, look at this. It should be a very good time by Yevgeny Lukianovka, I'm sorry, from Belarus. And yes, for him, it is a 3:17.57. Lukianenka from Belarus coming in third right now with a superb time of 3:17.57. Now we have a visual on Alexei Bychenko. I'm sorry, that's Buchinenko. Alors, Alexei Buchinenko from Russia, LW12, so it'll be 100% of his time, and it is a 3:31.12, good for 8th right now. 8e présentement pour Buchinenko from Russia, de la Russie. He was also a para-athletics Russian champion in the 100-meter event. And here is a very strong athlete for the United States of America, a former Navy SEAL. And you'll see a lot of him in biathlon. This is Daniel Knossin. And for Knossin, a time of 3:41.63. Good for 9th right now. As Dmitry Laban, bronze medalist in the 10K in Vancouver, despite an injury, he finished 7th during that event. And for Laban, 3:27.17. He is in 6th right now, so a good performance by him. Dmitry Laban started paraskiing in 2007, and right now looking very good for a qualification here for the heats later on today. And once again, after our men's sit ski, we'll go into our women's sit ski category. As out there we have our numbers 11, that's Sergei Shilov, gold medalist from Vancouver. And right beside him, continuing on his way, is Ivan Goncharov, but we will be paying attention to this man's time. Sergei Shalov, LW10. He's a Russian veteran with a skiing career that dates back to 1990. Also in 1992 para-athletics at the Para Games in Barcelona. He was the sprint champ in Vancouver. Let's see what his time will be. So Sergei Shilov in the 10th right now, 3:32.68. So for Shilov, very close for him, expecting to be in the top 12 once again. And now this will be Yuri Koschuk for him, and he pushes him into 7th place, 3:27.31. So the Olympic champ now in a spot of trouble. But this young man, Koschuk, a 4-time Paralympic cross-country ski medalist. Halstad now 12th. So Sean Halstad for the US of A. Les États-Unis d'Amérique from the United States of America in 12th place. Now this will be coming over the line. Mihailo Kachenka from the Ukraine. And oh, good time for him. He is in 6th place right now, 3:25.27. That is an amazing time, and that pushes onto the bubble here. Our Olympic champ, Shilov, will he make it to the finals? That's yet to be seen. Sergei now Shirzhaniak from the Ukraine. No, this is Martin Flag from Germany. And oh, great time for Flag too. LW 11.5, 3:21.60, pushing Shilov out of contention here today. So Martin Flag from Germany in 5th spot right now. And this will be Sergei Shirzhaniak from the Ukraine. He is the husband of 5-time para-champ Olena Irkuska. He won a bronze in 2011 at the World Championships, 12.5, and a bronze in the biathlon in Vancouver. And for him, it is a time of 3:27.38. He is in 10th right now. So 10th place here at the 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. We are live on the web from Sollefteå, Sweden, as we now we'll see Ivan Goncharov of Russia. Two-time biathlon world champ, former loser. And he is sitting right now 22nd in the IPC ranking for Goncharov, at 8th place right now with a time of 3:26.62. All right, now the time to qualify belongs to Canadian Chris Klebel, 3:29.33. As we will see our next skier coming up, should be from the Ukraine, Maxim Yarovyai. Once again, 19 nations taking part in this event. Over 300 athletes have gathered here in Sollefteå, Sweden for this 2013 edition of the IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. A very special year as the athletes are in their last stretch of preparation for the Paralympic Games in Sochi. So for Yarovyai, Maxim, it is a time of 3:29.38, 13th place right now for him. That will not be enough to hope for a spot to qualify here. Jeremy Wagner from the US of A, 3:39.22 in 18th spot right now. Andrew Sewell will be our next rider coming in. Next skier, I should say, coming in, yes. As he crosses the line in a time of 3:35.61 for the American skier. And also coming over there, number 21, Grigory Murygin from Russia. And look at this, a 5th best time right now, 3:19.54. So he has squeaked his way right into qualifying here. So a very strong performance by the young Russian, Grigory Murygin. And now we should see Italian skier coming up, Roland Ruppe. And once again, our next group to take off today will be our ladies sit ski class. And a very difficult course here today. A lot of terrain to cover, 900 meters. With some pretty intense climbing, some very fast descents. These skiers practicing over the last few days here, as now we see Roland Ruppe from Italy. And right now, the time to qualify. Kizniak's time of 3:27.38, being cheered on now by the Italian coach, is Roland Ruppe from Italy, from Italia. Buongiorno tutta Italia. And for Ruppe, 4:11.40. And that will be good for 22nd right now. Now going strong, Eric Fraser from the United States of America. Well, Fraser on his way here to the finish line. A new generation of skiers here coming up for the Americans. And for Fraser, it is a time good for 22nd right now. And that was 22nd, just pushed down by Korniko of the Ukraine. So for Fraser, it was a 4:01.77. Korniko from the Ukraine, 3:51.17. Only a few more skiers to come. An interesting note today is Igor Zaripov from Russia, silver medalist from Vancouver, deciding to skip the sprint event here. So he will be going for the longer distance championships, as we just had from Sverige, Anders Olsen, 23rd. All right, now with a time of 3:56.75 for Sweden. And three more skiers to come. And we should be seeing first and foremost looking to be like Kamil Roziek from Poland, Polska. So let's see what Roziek will be able to post time-wise here. It's again that 12th spot, a time of 3:27:38 is what we're looking at. And Roziek really pushing here. And the 20th for him with a time of 3:36:80. 3:36:80 is the time for Roziek of Poland. And we have a visual right now on our skier Robert Vator from Poland. And also waiting for Fernando Roca of Brazil. Our last two skiers on course. Then after that, we will be turning our attention to the women's class, sit ski. And we'll be starting with our first skier from also Russia here today. As we said, big contingent. It will be Nadezhda Andreeva. And I think she has just taken off as we speak. And we have now our women on course. As we will see in a few seconds coming to the line here. This will be number 28 from Poland, Robert Vator. Time to qualify once again. Hizniak's time of 3:27:38, which is our 12th spot right now. And here he is at the line, Robert Vator from Poland with a time of 3:41:99. And also here, right there, from Brasilia, Fernando Roca. And with a time of 5:38:66, so a good presence here for the Brazilian, Mr. Fernando Roca. And now we go to the women's class, sit ski, qualifying once again is the name of the game here this morning for the sprints. And we have wearing the red bib of the IPC ranking right there, Nadezhda Andreeva from Russia. However, hot on her tracks will be Norway's Marianne Martinsen. And she will actually have the best time at the finish line. So Marianne Martinsen, 4:01:73. In front of Andreeva, 4:28:10. So we are following for the top 12 here today in this event. And once again, Martinsen with the fastest time at this point. 900 meters is the course length. As we see number 33, Ludmila Pavlenko from the Ukraine. Fourth in the sprint event in Vancouver during the Paralympic Games. She has 2 Paralympic medals, one in Torino, and sitting second in the IPC standings. So right there, Pavlenko showing her strength, 4:07:96. She is in second place right now. And here comes one of the most decorated Paralympians of all times, Andrea Eskau from Germany, Deutschland, 5-time Paralympic medalist. She has bronze in the biathlon, silver in cross country. She won both events in paracycling in London and also in Beijing. So there is Andrea Eskau, and for Andrea it will be a 4:08:13. But whoa, right there, Olena Yaroskolska of Ukraine, first lady under 4 minutes, 3:57:5. She has set the new reference time here. And what a performance by her here today. Olena Yukoskaya from the Ukraine, now in the lead with a fantastic performance of 3:57:50. Next skier up, number 36. We see her coming right now. Around that last sharp turn, it looks relatively easy for those out there in Webland, but that is a slight climb out of a scrub area into the final tracks. And here comes Anja Wicker from Germany, pushing strong here. It will be a time, whoa, 3:57.86. So Anja Wicker, our second best time by only 36/100ths of a second. And right there, Svetlana Konovalova coming in third with a 3:58.25. So Yurkovska, Wicker, Konovalova are the three only women to go under 4 minutes today here in Sollefteå for the qualifying of the women's LW 10-12 sit ski sprint event. And we should see right now, coming around the bend very soon, the Paralympic champion in the sprint event in Vancouver. And first we will see, looks like we have not seen her yet. No, as she has been passed, it looks like, by Marta Zayanulina from Russia. Yes, so it will be Zenulina from Russia as she will come through here in a fifth best time of 4:06.05. And I think we will have a visual very soon on Paralympic champ Porcelato. There she is, number 38, Francesca Porcelato, who was the gold medalist in Vancouver, being cheered on by her team here. A bit of a difficult day for Francesca, as she right now will not be in the standings for our leaders. Let's see her time as she crosses the line here. I will be getting back to you on that time. The time not registering for Porcelato. And we go back out on course. Valiantsina Sheitsa from Belarus, number 40. And a very, very tricky little ascent there just before they make it into the tracks. So Sheitsa now making her way to the finish line. And for Porcelato, 4:30.69, she is ninth right now. And Valiantsina Sheitsa is in 10th with a 4:34.82. So we are far from those sub 4 minute performances of our top three ladies right now. Looking for our next skier, which will be Ludmila Wojciech from Belarus. And she's going to have a great time as she's caught and passed two other competitors. So let's see, will Ludmila figure in our top 12 here qualifying? We shall see very soon as she comes to the line and getting ready to go. Soon it will be our B-class skiers, our visually impaired skiers. And, Maria Iovleva of Russia, 3:54.74. We have a new leader, folks. What a time by the Russian as she is getting congratulations and from her coach, a well-deserved drink after that beautiful performance by Maria Iovleva from Russia. And we still have two competitors on course in this women's LW 10-12 sit ski qualification for the sprints. And going strong now from Korea is Vorami Seo. And for Seo, it will be a time today of 5:36, placing her in 13th. So that will unfortunately not be enough to qualify here today, as we are qualifying 12. But Iovleva from Russia causing a bit of a surprise here with a 3:54.74 and taking the lead of this women's sit ski qualification here today in Sollefteå. And just a reminder for everyone that our slate, our schedule is very, very busy here today in Soleftio, as we'll have our qualifications this morning, then moving into our semifinals and finishing the day off in our finals. So we have a visual now coming around. We will see in number 42. This is Japan's Mayuko Eno. Let's cheer on everybody, bringing her in here in this women's qualification. Eno from Japan, LW 11.5. Once again, percentages are given based on the classification of these athletes. LW 12 being the least impaired, and their time sits and stands as 100%. And as we go down in classification, there is a certain percentage attributed to their times. And there we go, that 97% standing for Madame Eno here. And she qualifies, she ends up, I should say, with a time of 7:06.73. So the time qualifying here was, she hits a time of 4:34.82. So we'll be showing our results very soon here, official results, and we'll be then going into a little bit later on, around 10:40 this morning, to our visually impaired men's. So there we have for the men's: Petuhov, Ilya Ludinov, Lukayanenka, Rozik, Murigin, Flag, Larsen, Kachenko, Goncharov, Laban, Kishniak are all qualified right now, and ending up in 12th was Kishniak. And we'll also have our ladies' results, official results. So Iovleva, Yurkovska, Vicker, Konolalova, Martinsen, Zainulina, Wojciech, Pavlenko, Eskau, Andrieva, Porcelato, and Schitz are our 12 qualifiers for the women's in the sprint event. So we'll be seeing them a little bit later as they will go into the semifinal heats. It'll be 6 up, and we now see the replay here of Petushkov's takeoff here. A very, very powerful skier, and today it was a good qualifying time for him as he takes the lead. And our red leader bib of Ilya Ludinov also doing very good here today, sticking with his standard. Only 5 skiers under that 3:20 mark, and they are qualified here today for this heat round, starting a bit later on. And we just saw one of our fastest skiers of the day making his way to the qualification, and also Olena Yaruskov, Anja Vicker on the ladies' side. Yovleva we saw earlier on, and that was probably the surprise of the day as she came in a time of 3:54.74. The coach is offering right away some refreshments for a well-deserved effort for Maria Yovleva from Russia. So there we have our 12 sit-ski qualified men and our 12 sit-ski qualified women. And we will be getting underway very soon with the men's B, or visually impaired classification or class, starting with Sebastian Modin of Sverige, of Sweden, wearing the red bib of the IPC ranking leader. And it will be quite a battle here as we have Chokalev from Russia, Brian McKeever, many-time Paralympic champ, also taking part, or at least qualifying for the Canadian Olympic team during the Vancouver Games. Unfortunately, not getting a chance to ski, but still setting the standard for many years to come, and finally winning this sprint event during the Paralympic Games in Vancouver. So the 19 nations well represented. Things starting off last night with our opening ceremonies here in Soleftio. Beautiful celebration with many of the local arts and culture involved. Also our representatives from the IPC. And that they have made their way today also to watch this first day of action here at the 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. We've completed 2 class qualifications, that being the sit ski men, sit ski women. And we are going to go into our B class, so visually impaired class, for men very soon. And we have quite a battle going there with some of the greatest rivalries that we've seen in the past few years in para-Nordic skiing. As we have with us today the top 3 from the Vancouver Games in Sebastian Modin from Sweden, who was the bronze medalist, Nikolai Polikin from Russia winning silver, and Brian McKeever from Canada winning the gold during those games. Well, let's keep an eye on the action as we are looking at a 10:40 start for these men. Et encore une fois, bienvenue mesdames et messieurs, si vous venez de vous joindre à nous via le monde du web. On vous souhaite la bienvenue à Sollefteå en Suède pour cette première journée des championnats du monde paranordique IPC en direct de Sollefteå en Suède. Mon nom est Randy Ferguson et c'est un plaisir pour moi d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui et pour cette semaine d'action en ski de fond. Et ensuite, nous irons du côté du biathlon. Et grande bienvenue à vous tous dans le monde du web. So once again, the first week here, cross country, and then we'll be moving to our biathlon events next week here in Sollefteå, as the B class 1 through 3 for men are getting ready here near the start line. And a reminder for all athletes, do not forget to give yourself enough time to present yourself at the start gate. And please be on time, and do not forget to pick up your timing chip here today for these events. Alors, un rappel pour nos athlètes, bien vouloir vous rappeler de vous présenter à l'heure pour votre départ, et d'autant plus, donnez-vous le temps pour réclamer vos transpondeurs pour le chronométrage, pour la télémétrie. Merci beaucoup. So once again, 10:40 is our time to start here today for our men's B1 through 3 category, qualifying for our heats this afternoon or later in the morning. And then we'll go to the women's, followed by our standing LW 2 through 9 men and our LW 2 through 9 standing women. And that will complete our qualifying, which should wrap up somewhere around 11:17, and that will be Sweden time. So for those of you listening in Eastern North America, that's 6 hours later for you. If you're on the West Coast, that's 9 hours difference. And if you're listening to us in the UK, that is a 1 hour difference with your time. And welcome once again to Sollefteå, Sweden, for these 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships, as we've just completed the men's and the women's sit ski qualification. Just some information and reminder for our teams here today in Soleftio. Don't forget the team captains meeting will be at 5 p.m. today. So a slight change from our earlier scheduling. And awards will be at 7 p.m. tonight, Soleftio time. For those of you listening on the web, we'll also have those award ceremonies live for you here from Soleftio. And for all athletes taking part in our heats, a reminder, the bibs will be ready for the heats at 11:40 this morning, and that will be available right here at our race office in the stadium. So we'll be qualifying here 8 skiers, contrary to our 6 skiers in the sit ski. So it will be 8, as our heats will be a total of 4 later on today. Reason being why we go from 6 to 4 is you've got to remember that our visually impaired skiers ski with a guide, and that doubles the number of people out on course. And to ski with 12 skiers out there would be a bit risque, and especially here in Soleftio, a very, very difficult course. And for these visually impaired skiers, we are now going to use a course that is 1.125 kilometers long. So we add a section at in the lower part of the Hallstad ski station here in Soleftio. So we now have, for our friends out in internet land, our start list here today. And once again, we will be starting with a skier from Sweden. And what an honor for him to kick things off here at home in Sverige. And this will be out of the start gate. Sebastian Modin will be our first skier. And his guide today, Albin Akerot. He is from Östersund, Sweden. And he was, as we mentioned earlier on, the bronze medalist in Vancouver. And he is just about to start. You can see the look of concentration on his face. There we go. The timing gives the beep, and we are off. So wearing the yellow bib in the front is the guide, the athlete in the back. So Modin this year leading this class, hence identified by the red bib. And now Modin on course. He'll be followed now by Russia's Stanislav Chokalev and his guide, Maxim Pirogov, are now on course. A very difficult task for the guide also, having to steer by vocal signs and also by holding the athlete's poles on some sections, and there are certain sections that are identified, and only in those sections can there be holding. And now we're going to go with the Paralympic champ from Canmore, Alberta. This is Brian McKeever with his guide, Eric Carlton. Alors, les Canadiens en piste, McKeever, champion paralympique à Vancouver il y a de ça 3 ans. Et son guide, Eric Carlton. They are on track. And one man who is going to give McKeever definitely a run for his money today, as he is going to feel probably what McKeever felt in Canada a few years ago. Next year in Russia is the next competitor right there out of the gate, Nikolai Polyukin and his guide, Andrei Tokarev. What a battle that is setting up to be next year in Sochi. Well, let's follow the times here, as the athletes have 1.125 kilometers to complete. And now taking off, Alexei Toropov with Evgeny Fatkulin, his guide. Once again, this is but a time trial. As the athletes trying to qualify, we'll be taking the 8 top skiers. As now we have Yuri Utkin from the Ukraine with Vitaly Kazakov, his guide, and off they go. Now a good visual on Sebastian Modin from Switzerland on our screen. Going strong out of the bottom portion of the stadium. And look how steep this is. For those of you that are out in Webland, that is a very steep ascent that they have before they make their way back into the top portion of the stadium here. So as you can see, going towards the 1.2 course. Actually, it's more of a 1.125 for them here today. And taking off now is Belarus's Vasily Shaptsiaboy. And we are going to see very soon the Swedish IPC ranking leader right now coming back into the stadium for his finish. And let's see what will be the time here for Sebastian Modin and his guide Albin Akerot. As they are coming back in here into the stadium, they will set the reference time today, as they will be just behind Anatoly Kolevsky of the Ukraine, taking off. So an image here of our red bib Sebastian Modin of Sweden coming around the last bend. And you can hear the guide, who has a small speaker on the back, on his back, giving out the indications to his athletes. So the time for Modin will be 3:59.32. 3:59.32, and that is the reference time for Sebastian Modin of Sverige from Sweden. And coming in now to the stadium, we will also have the Paralympic champion from Canada. And there he is, number 53, taking part in 2 events here this week before he will give himself a chance to participate in the Vassal Lopet is Brian McKeever of Canada. And the time for McKeever, 4:15.07. 4:15.07, good for second place right now for Brian McKeever and his guide Eric Carlton. Alors McKeever et Carlton présentement deuxième avec un 14:15.07. B3 skiers. Now Stanislav Chokalev and Maxim Pirogov for Russia. And they come in third right now, troisième présentement, 4:28.66. And right behind them, a man who has his sights set on a win today, Nikolai Polukin, 4:14.01. He is in second place right now. Il est présentement deuxième. So Polukin doing what he had to do, looking for a good placing here today, sending a message out to his competition. He is ready to roar and go today here in Sollefteå. So if you're just joining us on the web, welcome to Sollefteå, Sweden for the 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. And if you're just joining us here in the stadium, welcome. God morgon från Sverige. As we will see in a few seconds, another Russian skier, and this is Alexei Toropov. And for him, it is a time of 4:32.03, good for fifth right now for Toropov and Fatkulin, his guide. Top 8 are qualifying here, and Yuri Utkin, a good time, fourth right now, 4:22.57 for Utkin from the Ukraine. And giving it all he has And to win this one, it is 3 rounds. The qualification, the semis, and the finals take you to a title matchup. And once again, we see here, this is number 57. Shapsiaboy from Belarus. His guide showing him the way here to the finish line. Will he be able to make it to the top 8 today? A B2 class here. He is, yes, in 5th place with a 4:28.52. So Shapsiaboy in 4th place, or 5th place right now. Top 8 qualify. This is number 58 making his way into the stadium. Anatoly Kovalevsky from the Ukraine, and pushing really hard, double pulling it to the finish line here. And he will post a time of 4:29.48 for the B2 athlete. He is in 7th place right now. So that pushes Alexei Toropov into 8th. Still a large group of skiers to come. And number 59 here, look at this. This is Filip Spitsin passing his guide here and making his way to the end. Spitsin across the line in a time of 4:39.04. Unfortunately for him, will not be part of the top 8 that they are looking for a qualification here in our heats this afternoon.
Thank you.
And over the line now will be Vitaly Lukayanenko, number 60. And for him, we will have a time very soon for Vitaly Lukayanenko. Another Russian skier, this is Oleg Ponomarev. And for Ponomarev, oh, 4th best time here for him. 4:20.34, and that is a 100% value as he is part of the B3 class, so his final time stands. There's no factoring in of time for him. So Oleg Ponomarev, great job with Artem Veselov, his guide here today. Some fast times, we've had some surprises. Once again, the Russians very, very prominent in this event. As we shall see very soon, probably our Norwegian duo of Erik Baye and Torbjørn Pettersen, his guide. And at the same time, we see there in the background some of our LW 2 through 9 standing skiers on course getting ready. Coming around is Norway's Erik Baye. He is looking for a top 8 placing. 4:29.48 is the time necessary to hope to make it to the heats this afternoon. There is Baye giving it all he has, and watch out, the guide having to move out of the way as Baye taking it to the line, and unfortunately it'll be a 4:36.31, 11th place for Erik in this event. And right there, Alexander Artemov in 11th, pushing Baye to 12th, 4:33.60. And these times factored in once again, depending on the sports class of the athletes. And who will be our next skier to come around? It'll be Alexander Zaitsev with his guide Nikolai Prishin. And once again, that final little scrub zone, enabling the athletes to make it into the final tracks. And for Zaitsev, it will be 14th place right now with a time of 4:52.05. Getting very hard to make your way into the top 8 right now, as our fastest or best ranked skiers going first in this qualifying round. The number is 66 now. Or 65, I'm sorry. Håkan Axelsson from Sverige, from Sweden, with Marcus Femling. So for him, 15th place today for Håkan Axelsson with a time of 4:53.14. right now, skiing on home soil in Sollefteå for these 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. And once again, we are live on the internet around the world. And welcome if you are just joining us. And if you're just joining us here in the stadium today, a big welcome to you. Nico Messinger from Germany now, with being led by Philipp Lukas Burchardt. As we have Nico crossing the line in a time of 5:92, good for 16th place right now. So not where you want to be. So we'll have officially our qualifiers very soon, but it looking like Modin, Polukin, McKeever, Ponomarev, Utkin, Shaptsiaboy, Choklaev, Kovalevsky, Lukyanenko Kovalevsky will be our last qualifier because we are qualifying 8 here. Very important to mention. We are qualifying 8 in this event. And there we had our red bib of our leader here today in our next sporting class, being our men's standing LW 2 through 9, Vegard Dale from Norway, and he is posting the reference time here. This is still a 1.125 course for this class, and Dale's time of 4:04:45 LW4 is his class. He is definitely one of the athletes to pay attention to in this event, as he's done very well in the start of this IPC season. And Dale leading the IPC ranking. Next skier should be the man who right now holds on to the second rank from Russia, Vladimir Kononov. And that is him right now coming around the bend. Or will this be Rushan Minigulov? Yes, this is Rushan Minigulov with Kirill Mihailov. So no sign there of Kononov, as we right now have Mihailov with a time of 4:05:64, wearing number 74, and wearing number 73, Rushan Minigulov with a 4:20:38. So those are our two first skiers to make their way over the line. And there we are. We see now Vladimir Kononov from Russia, LW5 here class, and he will be posting a time of 4:38:64. Don't know if he ran into a bit of trouble out on course, but hence he is fourth right now, looking at a fourth place. But you need to be top 12 at the end of the day. Vladislav Lekontsev from Russia now, and for him it will be third, a very good time, 4:07.9. LW6 a skier. And 90% of his time reflected here, as we will factor in the different classes to give the final standing. 76 coming around the bend now from Finland, Ika Tuomisto. And Tuomisto looking at a 7th place ranking right now on the IPC calendar. 4:14:40 is his time, sitting in 4th place right now. So only 3 skiers under 4:10. Dale, Mihailov, and Lekomtsev are the only 3 skiers to make it under that barrier of 4:10. Reptyuk now from the Ukraine. Let's see his time, going very strong here. A nice sprint finish. And for him, a 5th place right now. Ihor Reptyuk of the Ukraine, 4:15:61. And he is giving it all here in qualifying. Not leaving much in the tank. He will have some time to recoup and regroup in regards to our heats this afternoon, if he does make it. Looking very good right now in 5th place. Now number 78, Håkon Olsrud from Norway. Olsrud in 10th place on the IPC ranking chart in January 2013 was our last event after Cable, Wisconsin. 4:29.13, and that places him in 7th place. Olsrud from Norway in 7th place. And coming in, another member of the Russian team, Oleg Balutko. So Balutko from Russia, 7th place. He's one of the young men to follow this year. Up and coming here with a 4:21.47, placing him 7th, LW6 skier. And we will have a time here for Benjamin Davier de la France, 4:16.45. 4:16.45 for the French skier, right up into 6th place. Alors, Davier qui se hisse au 6e rang présentement. Alors, belle performance de sa part. And next skier up should be Canadian Mark Arens from Prince Edward Island, Canada, training out of the Canmore World Cup Academy with Robin McKeever and company. He's done very well in biathlon and in cross-country skiing. And for Arens now, 4:17.27 in 7th place. 7e présentement pour le Canadien à 4:17.27. Mark Arens de l'île du Prince-Édouard semble être satisfait et tout au moins devrait se qualifier pour cette ronde de finale un peu plus tard. So looking at a qualified skier here is Mark Arens from Canada. And we'll see top 12 moving on here today. Coming around the bend will be from the Ukraine, Grigory Vochinsky. And really pushing here towards the end, looking for a good time. He is 12th right now. Will that be enough? 4:39.38. You want to give yourself a bit more of a buffer there, but we'll see. Now Tino Ulig from Germany, Deutschland. And Ulig into 10th with a 4:25.93. So knocking Vovchinsky from the Ukraine into 13th place. So Ulig doing the work now. He just has to hope that our last 10 skiers do not beat his time, or at least not squeak in. As we now see Yaremchuk from Russia. Yaremchuk with good speed here on the line, stretching it out, kicking it. And Yaremchuk, 4:21.46, squeezing into 9th place. Yaremchuk, 9th right now for Russia. Now number 85 from the Ukraine, Vladislav Mestrenko. And very fast finales here as the skier is vying for a spot. And just running out of gas, I think there was Mestrenko. And that will be a time of 4:22.55. Good for 11th place. Oh, so close, but oh, so far at the same time. That's top 12. And that pushes Tino Ulig from Germany into 12th. And we should soon see Kiichi Sato from Japan. Yes, there he is, wearing the purple uniform of the Japanese team. You can see the scrub there very hard as the temperature hovering over the 0-degree mark and the snow becoming very slow for a lot of these skiers, especially in the non-track portions. Kiichi Sato, it will be a time here good for 14th place, 4:36.47, and not what he was hoping, and disappointment for him. Another Russian skier, Ivan Kodlozerov. And stretching it out. Great time for him as he squeaks into 9th place. 4:21.31. Ivan Kodlozerov from Russia. Now at this point qualified and looking strong as he squeaks into 9th place. Smooth as silk. Ivan Kodlozerov And very, very close here. There are hundredths of a second separating some of those skiers in and around the 12th place mark, 12th rank mark. Very close racing. Oh, unfortunately, a fall here. Is this Argentinian Pablo Javier Robledo? Yes, it is. So bring him on home, everybody. Give him a good cheer for the Argentinian here. LW4, Pablo Javier Robledo from Argentina. A last little ditch effort here, making it to the finale. Will he be able to hope for a qualification in the heats? Oh, unfortunately, that fall costing him there. But still, 5:05.27 for Robledo. 18th right now for the Argentinian. Now, next 4 skiers will be from the People's Republic of China. An up-and-coming nation in this para-Nordic sport. And first one will be Tian Ye. And Tian Ye across the line here. Will it be sufficient? 18th place for Tian Ye from China. 4:53.27. And right behind him, Cheng Xiexue. And for him, it will be 14th place, pushing his countrymate down a few spots. 4:28.25. So Cheng Xiexue, a time, once again, of 4:28.25. And we'll be looking for his countrymates, Du Haitao and Zhu Dexin. Once again, we are with the men's LW2 through 9 classes, standing, also known as the standing classes for the gentlemen. So as you can understand, these skiers are, their disabilities are in the limb areas, either legs or arms. Still powering and motoring here is Du Haitao from China. LW 5 through 7 here is his sports class. And the time for him will be 4:43.07. Du Haitao from China. That is good for 19th spot. And his teammate, Zhu Dexin, coming in with a 4:55.12 in 21st spot. And we'll see very soon our blind, visually impaired women taking to the course. And our first skier out should be Elena Remizova from Russia. 3 Russians, 2 Ukrainians in that class. And let's follow here as we still have 2 competitors in the men's standing. As we have Mikhailina Lisova from Russia taking off. She'll be followed by her countrymate, Yulia Budalieva. And then we have our 2 Ukrainian skiers, as we just saw Kenji Tagigami coming in. Number 103 out of the gates, that's Yulia Budalieva with Tatiana Maltseva, her guide. There we are. Oksana Shaishkova for the Ukraine taking off. And remember in Vancouver, the winner was the great Verena Bentle of Germany. Mihailina Eliasova, that we just saw take off, won the silver medal. And the bronze went to Lyubov Vasilieva. Not here with us today, as we just saw Olga Prilutska from the Ukraine take off. So all 5 ladies are now on course for this women's line visually impaired qualification for the sprint. And leading right now are IPC rankings in this group. And wearing the red bib is Elena Remizova from Russia with her guide Natalia Yakimova. So they are now on course and ready to go. So we'll be looking at here to qualify for, if I'm not mistaken, for the rounds, the heats this afternoon. So Remizova, Laisova, and Nevidamova are leading the overall standings right now. And one absent skier, Robbie Weldon from Canada, not making it to these World Championships this year. Weldon, we remember during the London Paralympic Games, won the gold medal with her pilot Lynn Bessette in the London Paralympic road race in cycling. But back to her true love, Nordic skiing for Robbie Weldon, that I'm sure we will see next year in Sochi, we hope. And a visual now for our web spectators on Elena Remizova and her guide Natalia Yakimova. Let's see what the results will be here today. Not a lot of room for mistakes here, because only 4 of these 5 ladies will be making their way to the finals this afternoon. So placing very important. And our last group to qualify will be our women's standing coming up very soon. And we are looking at start times for them around 11:08. And that is Sweden time. And a good visual here. And the importance of the guide and the athlete working together. Communication, verbally, also moments where there is a holding process, especially during a very technical descents. The guide will grab the pole of the athlete, but most of it is really verbal commands or suggestions, and the athletes following that, some using a small speaker attached to the back of the guide. And here we are. We will have our reference time very soon for our women's line visually impaired class, and she will be setting that time right now. Elena Remizova from Russia. So that is a 5:02.75. 5:02.75 is our reference time in the women's blind visually impaired class. And right there, a good visual here on our camera of the work being accomplished by the guide, Alexei Ivanov, giving the commands to Mihailina Lizova, silver medalist from Vancouver, and also second in the overall standings of the IPC for January 2013. And a time for her of 5:04.99. 5:04.99. She sits in second place right now. And our third Russian duo should be coming up very soon. Ranked 5th on the IPC ranking in January of this year is Yulia Budalieva, that we see right here on our screens, making her way into the final straight. Time to beat 5:02.75. However, top 4 will be qualifying here. Let's see what the time will be for Budalieva. It is a time of 5:18.28. And our top 3 right now, B2 class skiers, so they're factoring in 98% of their time. And now our only B3 skier of this group, Oksana Shishkova from the Ukraine. Her time will stand as is as she crossed the line, as it is a B3. These impaired, and 100% of her time will stand. So let's see what that will be as her guide giving her a final few commands as she kicks here to the finish line. And it is a time for her 4th for Oksana Shishkova, who is sitting 7th right now in the IPC standings. It should be enough, but we'll see as we have one last skier out on course, a B2 class skier. So there will be some factoring in for her. Olga Pilutska from the Ukraine, as Volodymyr Mogilny giving her the final few commands here as she makes her way to the end. Will it be enough to qualify? 4 will qualify her. Oh, this is going to be close. Yes, so she moves into 4th place. So Olga Pilutska from the Ukraine will be gaining and garnering that last qualifying spot here in the women's B1 through 3, class. And we are going to go to the start line as we have already sent out on course our first ladies in the standing group. So this will be our standing group, and they will be going here with first out of the gate, and that is her on screen for our web spectators. Red bib of Anna Milenina from Russia. And ranked as our leader today. She'll be followed by Alexandra Kononova and Ulia Batenkova of the Ukraine. These are our LW 2 through 9 classes. So we'll see here who will have the fastest time. This will be a 12 to qualify, so 12 top skiers will qualify for our heats coming up a little bit later this morning. So our reference time, going to Anna Milenina from Russia, 5:34.78 for her, but hot on her tails. Alexandra Kononova from the Ukraine, and she sets the new best time, 5:20.05. For Alexandra Kononova from the Ukraine. And we'll be following closely the leader in this event, as we will be qualifying 12 athletes. Now this is Yulia Batenkova from the Ukraine, looking for a top 12 here, and her time. Oh, we have a new best time, 5:17.80 for Yulia Batenkova of the Ukraine. Fantastic performance by her here, as she has just come in with the new best time in front of the gold medalist in Vancouver, Kononova from the Ukraine, her countrymate. And now our 4th skier. This will be number 114 from Finland, Suomi. This is Maija Järvelä. And what will be Järvelä's time here as she comes in? LW8, 91% of her time factored in. She is in 4th right now, 5:36.47. And once again, another Japanese skier coming in. This is going to be a good time for Shoko Ota. And Ota with a 3rd best time here, 5:21.41. Wow, this is really turning into an interesting battle to qualify here, as athletes bringing down the times despite their start position. But right now, looking very strong for the silver medalist from the Vancouver sprint event, Shoko Ota from Japan. Now from Belarus, Larisa Varonya. She comes around that last bend into the final straight, giving a very, very strong push sequence here, looking for a qualification time. Will this be enough for Larisa Varona of Belarus? And she posts a time of 5:40.70. She's looking at a 6th place right now, so looking very good for her at this point. I remind you, we are going to qualify 12 here. And now coming up, number 117 from the Ukraine, Irina Bui. being cheered on by her coach. And this is looking like a good finish here as she will end up in 6th place right now. Originally 6th, 5:37.73. For the skier now 9th on the IPC circuit. 1:19 now. From Sverige, this is a Swedish skier, Helene Ripa, for Sweden on home soil. Will it be a qualification day for her into the heats? Looking at a 2nd place right now, 5:18.99 for Sverige's Helene Ripa. A very good performance from her, but here comes Yurika Abe, who was passed by Ripa. So she is 9th right now, 5:49.92. But Helene Ripa putting down the power here and looking at a automatic qualification for her as she is in 2nd place right now with only a few more skiers to come. And the next one we should see is the Ukraine's Ludmila Lyashenko. And Lyashenko, part of the top 15 in the world right now. LW8 skier. And we are coming up to our last qualification runs here. 120. There is Lyashenko from the Ukraine. And as you can see, the wind blowing now, a crosswind, which will help him on the finale here, but definitely coming up that hill could be a factor out of the lower part of the stadium. Lyashenko in 10th right now with a 6 flat 51, but still owner of the best time, her countrymate Yulia Batenkova with a 5:17.80. And now coming 2 skiers, this will be Poland's Aleta Duciak and Russia's Natalia Bratyuk. Sprinting out here for the form, but the upper hand will belong to Bratyuk as she started 30 seconds behind Dudziak. Bratyuk moving into 6th place with a 5:34.89. And Aleta Duciak looking at a 12th place right now on the bubble, as we say, right on the verge, because she is 12th with a 6:01.42. Alena Kaufman, LW8. So 91% of factoring in here. Let's see, will that be enough to push Aleta Duciak out of that 12th spot? That's all that's available right now. And for her, 7th, yes. So a beautiful performance here by Alena Kaufman. 5:36.19. And the Russian moves right up into 7th place. So that's what you want to do when you're one of the late starters, is garner some time here and make your way into the qualifying rounds, into the heats. And that is exactly what Alena Kaufman has just accomplished here in Sollefteå. So we have completed our qualifying rounds here this morning with Modin, Polukin, McKeever, Ponomarev. We are talking about the men's visually impaired at this point. Utkin, Shapsiaboy, Choklaev, Kovalevsky, Lukayanenko, Toropov, Artemov, and Bai are the 12 qualified for our visually impaired class. Alors, on va les qualifier pour les messieurs visuellement. Alors, Dale, Mihailov, Lekmotsev, Tiomitsto, Riptyuk, Davier, Arenz, Minogulev, Kodlozerov, Yaremchuk, Balukto are qualified in our men's standing. And join them also will be Maestrenko and Balukto. In the women's standing, visually impaired, Remizova, Ilyasova, Budalieva, and also qualified Prilutska. And in our last class, Batenkova, Ripa, Kononova, Ota, Milanina Bratiok Kaufman Yarle Bue Varona Abe Lyashenko will be our 12 qualified there also. And there we are. We have completed already our qualifications here this morning in Sollefteå. So once again, good morning from Sverige. Good morning from Sweden. Bon matin, mesdames et messieurs de la Suède. You are watching live from Sollefteå, Sweden. And we are at the Halsta Skidstation, the IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships. My name is Randy Ferguson. It's a pleasure to be with you all here this morning as we have started this first day of competition with our sprint qualifications. And as you can see, it is a pretty balmy morning here and quite windy. So for certain classes that ski on the lower portion of the stadium here, they are going straight into the wind. We're looking at a -3 degrees, probably more down in the valley. Up here a tad bit warmer, but there is a wind factor, so we are hovering around the 0 degrees. That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit for our American friends joining us here today. So we will have a very, very windy day here, and hopefully that will die down this afternoon. So once again, you are watching us live on the internet, and the site, if you want to mention it to your friends, we are on the www.youtube.com/Paralympic Sport TV. So if you are also here in the stadium and you have a smartphone or an iPad, don't forget you can join in with us and listen and watch and get your official scores times directly off the internet. And it is a great innovation here and a great enterprise by our friends at IPC. So everyone, we are going to take a short break here on the internet, so stay with us. Join us as we'll be back a little bit later for our semifinal heats. That is previewed to start here this morning at 12 sharp. So in internet land, come back and join us for 12 o'clock Sweden time as we will be back on air for the semifinals. Mesdames et messieurs, on vous quitte pour quelques instants sur l'Internet. Revenez nous voir pour les demi-finales à midi. And we'll keep you posted here in the stadium as you are watching the 2013 IPC Nordic Skiing World Championships from Sollefteå, Sweden.